we're joined from Amman by political analyst Adel Mahmoud. Mr. Adel, thank you so much for joining us on Q News. And let me first start by asking you, how do you view Israel's decision not to withdraw from the Lebanese territory?
To you and your viewers. Naturally, for Israel, following in the 60 days to stay for several reasons, and the first one is along with the United States to keep the Israeli deployment in order to before the Lebanese authority to take over. It's a main goal, and now they've already tackled the presidency, and we're about before the agreement to take effect by forming the Lebanese government that I expected to be less conservative and technocrat. This is the Article 1, and I think due to the implicit agreement. The second point, the Israelis have plans to keep some security point within the southern of Lebanon, and that might trigger a diplomatic crisis between the two countries in the international arenas. But Israel is insisted to the southwest of Syria and in Gaza created what is named as a buffer zone due to the security reasons. I expect not to withdraw up from the agreement that may create some problematic issues with the issue of the agreement, as Israel violated the truce between the two parties. And Israel determined that an immediate response if Hezbollah have retaliated. And I do not think that Hezbollah, following their loss in the presidency and the government, to move forward militarily with Israel. Now they want to maintain what is left from its power militarily and politically in Lebanon.
Now, sir, looking ahead, what can be predicted about the status of the ceasefire agreement in Lebanon? Does this decision indicate that Lebanon would return to war in the near future?
This would rely on the Trump administration that they haven't been tested yet. We do not know if he is a man of peace or war, and we should take a precautions that the matters would go to the actions and not to words. By saying that does not need to have wars in Lebanon and Palestine, but this agreement should be secured to the discipline two parties, Hezbollah and Netanyahu. We do not know what's behind the scene at the Hezbollah concessions. When Israel to go to keep a different agreement or a renewed agreement. Certainly there are calls by Hezbollah, even the Lebanese stated to pressure internationally to have an Biden by Israel to go out from Israel, from Lebanon. From my point of view, it is a strategic plan used by Israel to keep for waiting for reorganize the Middle East and starting from Syria and Lebanon and even in Palestine following the truce that would take phases. And when these files are intercepted, then I think that Israel won't withdraw currently unless if it is a prolonged conditions in order to have a shoulder and to enable their military and strategic plans along with the understanding with the USA. I named with the 60-day agreement.
Sir, sorry for interrupting you, but speaking of this point specifically and of the Trump administration, what are the chances of Trump administration forcing Israel to withdraw from the Lebanese territory?
regardless who is the president, Trump or Biden, these agreements are sealed and open files. Trump has already received Lebanon's file. It's not sealed yet, but it is a freeze upon the agreement by the UNIFIL and the United States. We are before a real test that is real dependent on Trump. If stay still with the Israeli action, as I explained, that there are opportunities for them to affirm the reorganizing the region. And it's not actually the war related to Israel. They are about Hezbollah and the Iranians out of the Lebanon, despite the preaches from Israel and using the destroying Hezbollah war stores. Hezbollah did not retaliate Israel accordingly. That would give an indicator that we have some sort of the acceptance of the conditions under the table. It is expected for Israel to stay in the southern Lebanon, but with the dismantling in the region, it's in a period to have an affront for precautions just in case. If Israel withdraws from the southern Lebanon and the matters wouldn't withdraw with respect to security and particularly in the western of the Litani, and in fact the Lebanese army never aren't deployed yet upon the installment from Israel. Secondly, to enable the new prime minister and the president of what is called to enable the sovereignty with the borders with Israel in Lebanon.
Now, sir, integrating the Lebanese army into our conversation, how do you view Netanyahu's office statement linking the withdrawal from the Lebanese territory to the deployment of the Lebanese army?
No, very well. That the army never been entered yet at the phase of rehabilitation by entering new elements, as well as the Lebanese militarily, machineries aren't as any army or others. And upon the palace plan to support Lebanon of 2 billion euro, that would take time. Israel has no justification to remain as a winner when the Iranian militias go out from the Litani borders. That would give indicators, firstly, to demark in the land and not in the sea, but Israel and Lebanon, and to go in a point of understanding and to exiting the Israeli army rely on the time factors. And upon the agreement of achieving the ultimate goals of Israel in the southern Lebanon, as the Lebanese army is accused of failure up till now, not give the chance for the government and to be tested in impose sovereignty, won't be able to see any withdrawal from the Israeli army from the southern of Lebanon. And I think logically the Israelis and the American working on that basis to prove that you are strong and without any obstacles in the parliament, searching the issue of the army to be deployed and dismantled the Hezbollah and in the eastern of the Litani. It is the planning should be for all the factions in the West Bank and Gaza and the southern of Lebanon in reaching in Iraq to have not to have factions. These fights gradually to
Now, sir, sorry for cutting in due to the shortage of time, but lastly, if you could briefly tell us the upcoming expected scenarios to happen in the Lebanese territories in light of all of these developments.
And a very important point would rely on Iran. If Iran wishes to turn the table as agreed the Hezbollah agreement with Israel, and Netanyahu agreed upon the pressure of America. So Israel has a great goes more than the 60 days agreement. This is how I see it. If there is a reluctance by Trump, I think he is economically very much a concern and would rely the matters in Iran and Israel if Iran felt that its loss in Iraq and Yemen. But I think that Iran is committed right now. Me, will see in a general political direction. But on the field, I do not expect any retaliation from Hezbollah against Israel.
That was political analyst Adel Mahmoud. Thank you so much for joining us here on Q News and for all the information you provided us with.